Okay, Jonathan Fibonojji here. Going to talk about Jesus again. I know. Some people don't like Jesus. We all have a different idea of how Jesus looks, and by the time we're 30 and 40, we have all of our prejudices already lined up, and we're like, we know exactly who Jesus is, Fibonojji. Don't you come in here saying he's a nigger. No, Jesus isn't a nigger. He's a nigga. He's glorious and he's wonderful. Some people will find Jesus through music, and I hope you do. Maybe you're just too smart. Maybe you just need that. And you know what? That'll take you there. Some people, like me, like they love photography and they love, like I read this morning. I have kind of a morning meditation. It says, "This I know that God is for me." And then later on it says, the vows of God are upon me, oh God. And then there's all kinds of things about Psalms. And, of course, anybody who follows this channel knows that I'm always talking about Psalms 57 or Psalms 54 is kind of my, I don't know, there's something about Psalms 54 I really like. It talks about strangers and insolent men, that God is my helper. You ever just need to pray a prayer? You're like, Fibonojji, I don't have a lot of time, dude. You're like, all right, just pray this. Behold, God is my helper and ally. The Lord is my upholder and is with them who uphold my life. You're like, all right, Fibonojji, I'm too smart for all that stuff. All right, well, let's talk about something else. One thing about Jesus is that she, I just call him Jesus. I mean, God. He's so infinite, and it's very hard to describe worship and what worship is. And I don't know if you're like me. I'm kind of from the Church of Christ background, and it takes a lot for me to truly worship. I used to even brag. Once upon a time, I used to brag that I'm not a worshiper. Well, the fact is we worship all kinds of things. I mean, we worship our self-esteems, our egos. I mean, then we have kind of obsessions, and I love, photography and trying to figure out how to take my lens cap off and make good videos. And even last night I was watching some stuff about rock climbing that, again, it's not hard for me to see. Maybe I see the world upside down. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe my perspective is different than yours. Well, that's okay. But let's talk about this person. Now, she is one of those really, really smart people, and she had what is called a stroke. I don't think she even uses the word Jesus in this video. This is a very, very, very interesting video. She's a PhD, Enneagram 5, if you're into that. I am. I love Enneagram stuff. This is an Enneagram 5 describing the other side, which I believe is open to everybody. And that's, anyway, I'll let her talk. This is a TED Talk. Here you go. A stroke of insight. Now notice what she says. It's very hard to distinguish between the way she's describing her experience with the other side and a charismatic preacher. Just different words.
Smells like and tastes
the present
like,
moment.
What it feels like and what it sounds like. I am an energy being connected to the energy all around me through the consciousness of my right hemisphere.
Wait, she's worshiping too much
for
me.
We are energy beings connected to one another through the consciousness of our right hemispheres.
Wait. Okay, now I'm sorry. I must have made a mistake. Now, see, she's Enneagram 5. She's a PhD. She's talking about the universality of human consciousness. And I don't like that because I'm like everybody else. I like when people just tell me what I already know back to me. Somebody once said that thinking, for most people, I love this quote, for most people, thinking is just rearranging their prejudices. This is why I believe
and right here, right
in
now,
learning.
We are brothers and sisters on this planet, here to make the world a better place.
Wait. That sounds too much like Jesus.
Perfect.
Okay, so wait. She's talking about that we're made perfect, that we are whole, that we are beautiful. Wait, she's Enneagram 5. I want data. Well, what's happening here is she had a stroke. And she's explaining her reality once she was dying.
Whole, and we are beautiful. My left hemisphere,
Hang on.
our left hemisphere,
I'm good, thank
is
you.
a very different place. Our left hemisphere thinks linearly and methodically. Our left hemisphere is all about the past, and it's all about the future. Our left hemisphere is
I'm good, thank you.
to take that enormous collage of the present moment and start picking out details, and more details about those details. It then categorizes and organizes all that information, associates it with everything in the past we've ever learned, and projects into the future all of our possibilities. And our left hemisphere thinks in language. It's that ongoing brain chatter that connects me and my internal world to my external world. It's that little voice that says to me, hey, you got to remember to pick up bananas on your way home. I need them in the morning. It's that calculating intelligence that reminds me when I have to do my laundry. But perhaps most important, it's that little voice that says to me, I am. I am. And as soon as my left hemisphere says to me, I am, I become separate. I become a single, solid individual, separate from the energy flow around me and separate from you. And this is a portion of my brain that I lost on the morning of my stroke. On the morning of the stroke, I woke up to a pounding pain.
This is interesting. Notice how she calls the left hemisphere a calculating intelligence. Interesting.
Behind my left eye. And it was the kind of pain, caustic pain, that you get when you bite into ice cream. And it just gripped me.
This is her
And then
stroke.
it released me. And then it just gripped me. And then it released me. And it was very unusual for me to ever experience any kind of pain. So I thought, okay, I'll just start my normal routine. So I got up and I jumped onto my cardio glider, which is a full body, full exercise.
This is when she's really just in full denial that she's having a stroke. And then she talks about she gets on an exercise machine. And then this is when she really starts to experience the other side.
On the
Brain
machine,
death.
having the experience to some esoteric space where I'm witnessing myself having this experience. It
Disassociation.
was all very peculiar, and my headache was just getting worse. So I get off the machine, and I'm walking across my living room floor, and I realize that everything inside of my body has slowed way down. And every step is very rigid and very deliberate. There's no fluidity to my pace, and there's this constriction in my area of perception, so I'm just focused on internal systems. And I'm standing in my bathroom getting ready to step into the shower, and I could actually hear the dialogue inside of my body. I heard a little voice saying, okay, you muscles, you got to contract, and you muscles, you...
Where else are you going to hear someone explain the experience of brain death in the left hemisphere of their brain? Where else other than Fibonojji are you going to hear someone explain that with intricate detail? And notice again how it's, just tell me what you notice.
And then I lost my balance, and I'm propped up against the wall. And I look down at my arm, and I realize that I can no longer define the boundaries of my body. I can't define where I begin and where I end, because the atoms and the molecules of my arm blended with the atoms and molecules of the wall. And all I could detect was this energy. And I'm asking myself, what is wrong with me? What is going on? And in that moment, my brain chatter, my left hemisphere brain chatter, went totally silent. Just like someone took a remote control and pushed the mute button. Total silence. And at first I was shocked to find myself inside of a silent mind. But then I was immediately captivated by the magnificence of the energy around me. And because I could no longer identify the boundaries of my body, I felt enormous and expansive. I felt at one with all the energy that was, and it was beautiful there. And then all of a sudden, my left hemisphere comes back
Boom.
online,
The left
and it
hemisphere
says to me,
always comes
"Hey,
back. We got a problem. We got some chatter."
We got to get some help. And I'm going, oh, I got a problem. I got a
The
problem.
left hemisphere,
So
man.
it's like, okay, I got a problem. But then I immediately drifted right back out into the consciousness. And I affectionately refer to this space as La La Land.
La La Land. So there you go. The right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, and how however we get there and whatever language we use and whatever mechanisms that we use. And if we, for some people, it's a stroke of insight. For some people, it's hashtag MRA and homelessness. And for some people, it's psychedelics. And for some people, the real point I want to make is there is a God and there is another side to reality. And there is there's a war, if you will, and the war sometimes is so pronounced, and that war says, me, I got to take care of me, other people don't matter, what about me. And there's another side of reality. There's another hemisphere, there's another realm, whether it's spirituality or if you want to call it brain death or la la land. There's another reality that also speaks to us, and it says, that we are one, and that we must love our brothers and our sisters, and that there's an expansiveness, and there's no real individuality. And again, I know this is la la land talk, but that's what Fibonacci is about. I want to share my experiences and say, dude, if you ever can take a little bit of time out of your life today, watch this, read this book. You don't have to like this. You don't have to like this. You don't have to believe in this. You don't even have to like my pictures. You don't have to like my perspectives on photography. You don't have to like anything. It's my beautiful daughter, K-Bug. Love you, K-Bug. But if we can become more compassionate to other people, if we become more compassionate and understand other people's perspectives and even allow them other people's perspectives. I mean, the church I grew up in wouldn't even allow this woman, a PhD, to come share her own stroke experience for fear the church I grew up in would be so afraid of that language of la la land that we would never hear that. So that's what I want my Fibonacci to be.
But it was beautiful there. Imagine what it would be like to be totally disconnected from your brain chatter that connects you to the external world.
Amen.
So here I am in this space, and my job and any stress related to my
You guys have a good day.
job, it was gone. And I felt lighter.
Email me your thoughts, Americana417@gmail.com. Drop me
and
PayPal.
imagine all of the relationships in the
PayPal.
external world,
Need
and
it.
any
Holla.
stressors related to any of those, they were gone. And I felt this sense of peacefulness.